Hello, all, and welcome to the Z Trigger podcast. I'm Trent.
I'm
My name
Brandon.
is William Hill.
Me first, damn it!
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's right. You just step aside, Mister. I will play Sonic. Well, I want to play Sonic, but you're not. I'm
Can
Brandon,
you believe me?
and the asshole playing the game is Brad, or William, or William Brad, or Bradley, as some people like to call him too.
Everybody's got a different name for me at work. I'm called
That guy.
a few different things. No, actually, it's usually either tall Brad or skinny Brad because
That's right.
other
But you got
Brad.
more than one Brad.
That's right. We have.
So y'all couldn't get the whole number one or number two going.
Oh no, that joke wouldn't work with him. So
Oh.
Hmm.
well, anyway, how you guys doing this week?
Okay.
A loaded
What?
answer.
What is a fine response for a week like this one?
Yeah.
That it's almost over.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys and your week almost being over. I still got 3 more days of work. Well, anyway, you guys playing any good games this week?
I sort of started to try to replay Twisted Metal Black with
Nice.
my friend Chris. We've been doing the 2-player co-op here at my house, and we now suck at that game. It seems I just suck at video games in general now, unless they're RPGs.
It's quite fitting you said that since we're playing Final Fantasy VIII on the live stream tonight.
Ah. But yeah, we die continuously, even on easy. Yeah.
Oof.
And see, there back like whenever the game came out, I don't know, what, 10, 11 years ago?
That would have been about 14 15
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. We beat it in a day. Yeah. Video games get harder as you get older. Well, at least it does for me. Older ones do, anyway.
No better sign of that than the fact that I've been playing Sonic Mania this week. And that's been pretty much all I've had time to play. What little bit of time I've actually been home. And Brandon, since I'm going to gush over this game for probably 10 minutes straight, you go ahead and I'll come back to it.
For whatever reason, because I'm bound and determined to find something in this damn game that is worth the time that people seem to put in it, I have been continuing to play Minecraft. Most of the week, most of every night, I have turned it on and I have played. My first couple of days, I had this gigantic mountain like right next to where I set up my home base, and I was like, you know what, mountain? Fuck you. I'm going to demolish the mountain.
You actually said "fuck you" to the mountain.
I did, yeah, because he was just this big old mountain just in my face. I didn't want him there, so I said fuck you, and I started going through the process of demolishing him. Then when the process, discovering that 90% of the world is made of cobblestone. Oh my dear God. Cobblestone is if this was Diablo and things stayed on the ground after you threw them there, I would litter the entire surface of my game world in cobblestone blocks, because that is what you find most of the time. So after doing that for a while, I said, well, I got this mountain half gone. It actually takes quite a while to demolish the mountain once you get to the bigger layers. Most because your tools keep breaking every other swing, it feels like. So I said, screw it. I'm going to pick a direction, and I'm just going to go. Because, in Minecraft, you can actually find villages, towns with other beings, and you can trade and do things. But for whatever reason, the developers have seen fit to make this phenomenon ultra rare.
Well, it is procedurally generated. It's not like it's...
Yes, but just because something is procedurally generated doesn't mean that you can't program for certain things to always pop up. Maybe not always in the same location or the same biodome, but something of a certain type should always be there. Otherwise, what good is this one world that you're working on? You say you put 20 hours in this one world to find out that it has nothing beyond what you've been doing. You just wasted 20 hours of your life for no reason.
Well, to be fair, if you're playing Minecraft, there's a decent chance you've wasted a large portion of your life anyway.
Possibly.
I'm being a jerk right now.
Minecraft can be fun. The problem comes in is that you eventually, at least if you're, I won't say a normal person, but if you expect more out of your games than just mindless hoarding, because that's what this game is. It's hoarders. If you're a hoarder, you will love this game because you hoard like a mofo. Because eventually you realize that that's all there is to do. Without those villages, all you're doing is hoarding. Like, especially in survival, there's different game modes. There's survival mode, creative mode, and adventure mode. Survival mode is you have to find your resources. Say you want to build this big castle, but you need varying amounts of resources to do it. You have to go out and hunt for those and make them and all that stuff. While creative mode is all right there in front of you. You can just pick and choose whatever you want to do and just create something. So to me, that sort of takes out of the what fun there is to be had with Minecraft. That takes a lot of it out, in my opinion, because if I don't have to work for it, then what's the point? I mean, to me, work doesn't. If I can just build it, to me that's beyond just the work of building it. That's just it takes a lot of the how we were talking about achievements last week, and how people are just giving you thousands of achievements and you don't have to work for it. I feel the same way about this. It's like if there's no actual work having to go into it beyond just the actual building of it, then there's just no fun to it.
Right.
While adventure mode is basically survival mode, but a little bit more of a dick.
It's more of a dick than survival mode?
Yeah, because, in survival mode, if I break a block of dirt with my pickaxe, I still get my resource of dirt. While in adventure mode, unless you break up that block of dirt with a shovel, you don't get shit.
So that sounds more like a survival mode thing than adventure mode. I think that it would be reversed.
Sorta, yeah. You got it. Yeah, true. Yeah. But so I decided I was just going to go off in a random direction, and ultimately I pretty much went over a good large portion of the map, getting lost because you there's not. If you in the console version, they give you a map. It's a blank map, and as you explore the world, it fills in. The catch being is you have to be holding the map. If you're not holding the map doesn't update. Well, weird. I didn't know that. So I just run off in this random direction. I did one smart thing is, I made this gigantic path to lead back to my home base, and before I stopped going in the one direction, I built this ginormous tower of blocks. So
you went to one direction?
Yes. I wanted to see the pop band, if I could find them in this game. But I constructed this gigantic pillar so I could find my path again. Because you get lost in this game very easily, and unfortunately, I did get lost because my fucking map didn't upgrade.
Yeah, and everything kind of looks samey.
It does. Once you start traveling around, you'll see it's here's my jungle type area, here's my desert type area, here's my snow type area, and it's all fairly the same. The only thing that kind of changes is the game procedurally generates these large, like, objects. Like, they're basically mountains, but they're in the shapes of things. Like, one to me looked like fucking Pac-Man. Just, random things like that. You can use those as it's like, okay, I know this is here, so I know I'm in this area. Of course, it doesn't help if you're unfamiliar with the area in the first place. So, eventually I got completely lost because fucking map didn't upgrade. 'Cause I was like, I opened my map, I was like, wow, according to this, I've not explored any extra of this world. And then I read and discovered that the map doesn't upgrade if you don't hold it. I was like, oh shit. So I spent one whole.
That would have been very helpful if the game told you that. Just a little bit.
Yeah, you have to. It will tell you if you dig around the menus. But unless you do that, it's like, oh well. So I spent like an entire game session just trying to fucking find my path so I could go back home.
Jesus.
But after doing that and traveling all the way back to my home, then my map decided to upgrade. But overall, I still have this unsatisfactory feeling of the game because I keep going back to this fact that after just hoarding all this random blocks of materials, and it's like, oh, I created another silver pickaxe. Let's go grind some more blocks. There's just the fun just evaporates for me because I don't know. I played with Legos when I was little and I liked building things, but I don't know. When I'm playing a video game, I want more. I require more. I require some, like, reasoning for things. That's why I was so damn determined to find a fucking village so I could at least, like, hey, I got all this shit that I can't do anything with. Let's trade it. Even if I'm not getting money, at least I'm doing something. And that failed. So I'm still at the place of, well, this game's kind of boring after a while. Yeah, I can dump mindless amount of hours into it because it's mindless, and I just feel like doing something that, because I've also been playing Final Fantasy VIII since Brad's been talking about it, and I'm at the point it's like, well, I could go on, but this whole leveling thing's getting to me, and I'm like, I don't want to level up. But then I got to reading, it's like, oh, I don't have to deal with those stupid idiots. I can just go fight T-Rexes for a lot, and they will give you the same item. And you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting it. So I'm like, why am I being bothered by this other person? So
Which item? Which item are you getting from T-Rex?
That dragon thing, or whatever one. The one that from the monster that has to be like below level 20 to get at a decent rate. So that you can get it from the T-Rex at a decent rate. Not as high as the other monster, but you can still get it.
Right. There's options.
Yeah, I'm not so much into the. I don't really care about the low level game, the run. I just, I just want to get the fucking Lionheart and disc 1. So yeah, that's my game playing, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to stick with Minecraft. I guess it depends on how much longer I feel like mindless gameplay, because to me that's what it's like. It's mindless gameplay. And I've heard some people say it's like our friend Keith's just like, I the mod do it for me. I'm like, well, unfortunately, I play on console. I don't have mods. There's nothing for me there. There's no mods.
And you see, and you just broke Minecraft for me in a way, because if the base game is not compelling enough to me without mods are not enough to save it.
Yeah, and I did have that thought running through my head too when she said that. I was like, well, if I have to have mods to make the game more interesting to me, then the game fails on the fundamental level of entertaining me. I mean, it's done messed up. I can see how a bunch of people would get into this course. But,
Oh, absolutely.
But it just
and there are some people, and there are some
me.
people who can't play Bethesda RPGs without mods.
I don't know why, because even the mods that they include, most of the time, are just graphical changes. There's nothing that actually, changes fundamental aspects of the game. You're still wandering around a wasteland if you're, doing Fallout. You may change the creatures, or you may make the foliage look, 10 times better than it was before, but it's still the same damn area. But that's why when games like Diablo, where it is just mindless hoarding, but there's things I can do with the loot.
Yeah, you can sell it, you can upgrade your shops.
I can, if it's maybe in Diablo 3 I got into the class building aspect of the loot, so I was able to do that with the loot. It's like I can mix and match different things and create this powerhouse mage that I had. Just fun stuff like that. There was a purpose. There's no purpose with Minecraft other than hoard and build. If you're not going to build, then the game's worthless.
And you see, I even had a thought, I've always had this mindset of, I would get addicted to Minecraft, I think, just on the grounds of being able to go in and build whatever I wanted to after gathering the resources to do so. But then I played Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft can be rather boring.
I loathe the controls of Minecraft. I do not like the way it feels. And I can imagine that the feeling of success that I get from completing something that I built would not be so much from, hey, look at this cool thing I built. It's, hey, I finally managed to finagle my way around these terrible floaty-ass controls to construct something and finally get it looking sort of what I had in mind. You brought up the Lego comparison, which is the reason why I always thought, it would be something I'd find incredibly addictive. But if I put something together with Legos, it's tactile. Mm-hmm. I can feel it in my hands. I can see with the mistakes as I'm making it. I can just pick it apart and put it together the way it needs to be. I don't see me having that result after having played Minecraft in any capacity. Now, I freely admit, I've played Minecraft in multiplayer. The deathmatch multiplayer. And deathmatch multiplayer is the absolute worst way to play that game. I am fairly certain.
Well, you seeing how that's not what Minecraft is about, then yeah, I would imagine so.
And I get dragged into it because my nephew loves this game, and he asks me to play it in a way that I can't. I cannot do it. I cannot enjoy this version of Minecraft because it's not good. In fact, it is one of the worst things I've ever done with a game controller. And that includes FMV games on the Sega CD.
Speaking of which, I haven't gotten it yet, but soon. I was one of the lucky few to pick up a copy of Night Trap for the PS4.
Woohoo!
I don't know when it's going to get here. They said they were supposed to start to ship them out on the 15th. I am totally looking forward to playing this 3DO horrendous game. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
So, tell me, Brandon, are you going to bring it to the house to let me try it out, to let me play?
Of course. The game's actually not that long, so we could probably play it in a sitting.
We should. So that's a live stream coming up.
Yeah,
folks. Next time Brandon's in Raleigh, we're going to be doing Night Trap live on Z Trigger channel here on YouTube. So subscribe if you want that kind of terrible.
Yes, I can't wait to see what type of trophies it gets. See if there is trophies.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Let's look it up. I'm curious now. I say we should platinum it if it has a platinum. I'm curious enough to look it up right now.
That game being hard.
It's not good.
I know it's not good, but I remember it being so hard when we used to play it. we would always look. Half the time we didn't know what the hell we were doing. I'd be sitting with adults, and we're all puzzled about what we are supposed to do.
Oh, you have to get all 6 endings.
Also, there are trophies.
Yes, there are.
Oh, good.
Okay, so there's you have to complete the game with certain layouts. You have to kill the entire cast, and you know what trophy that is?
What?
It's called MA17, which was the original rating the game had. You got to watch all the deleted scenes. I can't tell what some of these do, but you have to. Wow, this looks hilariously awful and amazing. I'm so looking forward to this.
Yes, so am I, and I'm so glad I got one. And I'm convinced the only reason why I managed to get one is because they had another run of the limited edition, and that's what most of the people were trying to get to. So while they were trying to fight over that, I just happened to get a copy of the regular, which no matter what version you get, if you go to eBay and look this thing up, they are expensive.
That breaks my heart, man, because I would have loved to have had a disc copy of this, but at the same time, I'm still looking for a 32X copy. That's the version I want. How much is it going for these days?
Let's see. The first thing I see is the Sega CD version is $179.
What the fuck?
The 3DO version is $100.
I get the feeling the 32X version is stupid expensive now. I wish I'd bought it when I could have gotten it for $30. I have to wait for the craziness of this to wind down and.
Night Trap for Sega CD 32X complete, $29.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the cheapest damn version. Everything else is expensive.
And that's a complete copy?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I need to get on that. That's cheap. That's cheap enough to buy. And that's a weird way to say it. That is cheap enough for me to put money on that soon. And I'm going to have to because.
So yeah, the average price of the regular PS4 version is $130. That's ridiculous.
That is insane. I'm glad I got a 32X right now.
Yes. So, Sonic is fun.
Okay.
I will say that I have one problem with the Sonic thing.
Oh, did you buy it?
No. And the reason I didn't buy it, and I have a reason for the gripe, is the lack of a physical edition.
That has actually been that was my biggest problem with the way I bought it. But this was how
my complaint about it is that they fucking released the Mega Man collection on physical medium. If Mega Man can have physical release, why can't Sonic?
I do not know. I really don't. But here's the thing, and this was my rationale for still getting it. Whenever this was announced, you guys, we've talked about the Sonic hype cycle here on the show before. How it doesn't matter, and it really doesn't matter from time to time, from game to game. Every Sonic game goes through the Sonic hype cycle where it's an utterly garbage game by the time it comes out in most people's view, and it was the most hyped thing around, and it was going to be the game that saved Sonic this time. For literally every Sonic game that has been announced in the past 15 years. And now, this one has come along and broken that. But I didn't know that when the game was, whenever they first revealed the Collector's Edition. I was like, you know what? I don't usually buy this sort of thing, but that statue, it's not even really a statue. That figure of Sonic standing on the Sega Genesis, Model 1 Genesis, I want that. It's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever wanted, but I want that because, you guys know this. I've gotten very much into the history of Sega, especially in that time period, and all the mistakes they made during that particular like 7 or 8 year life time span. And it's like, I want this thing. I want this stupid fucking statue of Sonic standing on a Genesis, and it's got a little switch on it. If you put batteries in it, you hit the switch. Sega plays out of a little speaker on the side. I love this thing. I love this thing, and it was really funny. Joe goes to pick it up. Joe went to pick it up for me because I had to work until 7 o'clock that night. It came out. And she texts me. She's like, "Oh my God, Brad, this thing is huge. I can barely get it in the car."
Okay, that note wasn't going where I thought it was going. Okay, good.
and she was just I don't think she realized that. Yes, this thing it's very tall. It's 12 inches tall, and the base is as wide as the Mega Drive Genesis.
This is not getting any better.
Trent needs to realize we're talking about a game from the early 90s that we played when we were kids. This is not a place for perversion. So, I'd already decided, yes, I'm irritated that it's not a physical media copy and that they're not doing that, but I'm buying the goofy-ass Sonic figure. And getting an awesome game with it, once I realized how good the game was actually going to be, because again, we didn't know back in February or whatever that this game was going to be this good, and then here we are, the week of its release, and I'm very happy to say that this might be the game that topples Sonic CD for me, for being my favorite Sonic game. Part of the reason I love Sonic CD is that it's the one that I've played most successfully. So that and Sonic 2 are my favorites, and it's because and I know this is a really lame reason, but it's because I'm best at those. And I'm like Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is very good. I'm terrible at it. I've never made it past the second zone. Brendan, what's the best you've done at any Sonic game?
I don't know. It's been years since I played.
So I didn't know if you'd played more recently with like the Sega Genesis collection on the 360 or the PSP. How about you, Trent? What's the best you've ever done on a Sonic game?
I have no idea. I know I was pretty good at them back in my childhood days when I actually played them on the Genesis. But I never owned a Genesis, so.
See, I didn't either.
When I tried to play it again on the 360, Xbox 360 Sega collection, yeah, not so good.
No one's judging anybody on this podcast, at least not actively, because I'm not good at it.
I'm just not. I noticed when I had bought Super Mario 2 and 3 on the virtual console on the 3DS a few weeks ago. I don't think I'm good at any games that require running and jumping and stuff like that on systems that they were not originally on.
I've not played very much in the way of NES games on the 3DS, but so Brandon can vouch for this. Playing virtual console games on the Wii, if you're playing it on off the TV specifically, there's significant lag. The emulation is not solid.
Yeah,
it's not as bad on the screen itself, but it's pretty rough on the actual TV playback. And the best emulation I've ever played for classic games is actually the NES Classic. It's insane how good the emulation is on that.
Too bad I wasn't able to get one of those.
Yeah, I'm still astonished that I got one, and we're Hawkeye watching the Amazon listing for when the pre-orders kick in for those.
Hey, they say within the next 12 days.
Yeah, it's gonna be by the end of the month, and
probably at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I hope not.
Knowing Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly.
It sort of makes you wish that you could have an alarm set on your on like your cell phone, so that when it happens, you know. There should be an app for that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that would mean that Nintendo cares about your ability to buy things from them, and Nintendo does not make it.
They'd rather laugh at your suffering.
This is true. What about Sonic Mania? So I'm in Zone 6 now. I just finished Zone 5 before we started the recording. I got stuck in Zone 4 for way longer than I should have. Okay, so first and foremost, this game feels like it was plucked out of 1995. Like, instead of pursuing the Sega Saturn, Sega was like, fuck it, we're going to make more Genesis games. And this was their next Sonic game instead of attempting to make a 3D game or that god-awful racing thing that they did called Sonic R. It plays exactly like a Genesis game, except it's tighter, I feel. And also, there are enough new elements to the level design that you really feel like this was going to be the next step of what was going to be in a Sonic game. It wasn't just, oh look, here's Green Hill Zone again. Although there is a Green Hill Zone level because it's remixing classic. It remixes a couple of older Sonic levels, and then it has a whole slew of brand new levels and level design types in the game. So there's enough new here for people who played the hell out of the old games, and the stuff that they brought back is still fresh, that it doesn't feel like another rehash of those levels. There's so much to appreciate about the craftsmanship that's put in these levels. And, you know, this was made by two fans, essentially. Two people who were part of this community of fans who were making their own Sonic games. And you can tell there's a lot of love for the series on the page. And I'm astonished. I mean, I'm legitimately astonished by what I'm seeing whenever I play this game. I cannot wait to keep playing it. And that's saying something, because as much as I like Sonic games, you guys will probably know exactly what I mean when I say this, but like, I get to a point with any game where I will get frustrated, I will get pissed off, and I will stop playing the thing I'm trying to get through. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, Zone 4, the Sky Fortress, or whatever, I don't even remember the name of it, but the airship stage. It pissed me off. It really just frustrated the ever-loving shit out of me. I still stuck with it, and I still loved it. It's so fucking fun. I'm ready to get back into this game and continue playing, but until then, you know, I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy VIII, I guess. Because let's put it this way, I'm enjoying it so much that instead of going to sleep when we finish the podcast, I'm probably going to sit down here and play my game some more. See if I can get through another one. There's only 12 zones, so the problem of their only of classic Sonic in that you're only going to get so much runtime out of it, because it's a fairly short game, is still there, and that's disappointing, but I'll live. The game is still stellar. As for things like, you know, additional modes and stuff like that, there's some multiplayer stuff in there. It came with a lot of like little, you know, tchotchke-ish stuff for the PS4. So like I got 3 PS4 themes and some avatars, and of course I'm using them because I'm a colossal fucking nerd. And so that was a nice little bonus, because, you know, usually publishers are charging you for crap like that. So, but yeah, all in all, if you want to score you an excellent Sonic game, you cannot beat Sonic Mania. I'm genuinely telling you both, like, go and get you a copy, like, during the podcast, so it's downloaded by the time you pick back up and keep playing. Oh, man. And the statue is really cool. I do not regret the statue at all. Oh, one of the other dumb thing that's in there that I absolutely love is it comes with a cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with a mock cartridge for Sonic Mania, and you can pull it out of the you can pull the chip part out, or what would have been the chip, and inside is a golden ring. So it's really silly, and I love it. But anyway, moving on.
Yes.
See.
Oh, there it is. Jeez. Okay. What happened?
Nothing has happened.
Oh, my computer just was like, we're going to make this really startling sound to make you think shit just broke.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the silence.
No, it's like, my computer just like, I don't know what it was, but as long as everything's fine, I will not yell at the computer.
I must make a small complaint about Final Fantasy VIII. Apparently, you cannot card Galbadian soldiers, so I'm going to be taking experience points for this entire exam. That sucks.
I was wondering if you could turn them into cards.
You cannot. They do not have a card. I mean, I knew they didn't have a card, but I was hoping they'd be like, this is not a real card, but we're going to kill it and not give you experience points anyway. That didn't happen. Thankfully, you don't fight that many. The only thing you really got to worry about is the giant robot that chases you through the city. With the great big code name that I'm not going to possibly remember at all. Okay, so anyway, speaking of Nintendo and retro things, all right, how much does the concept of a GameCube Virtual Console selection inspire you to pull your wallet out and throw lots of money at Nintendo?
Not really.
Well, since I never ever played any sort of GameCube game in my life, that sounds kind of interesting.
You see, it intrigues me because there are a few really good GameCube games.
There's the Star Fox game.
There's actually two of them, although some people would like for you to forget the the Zelda ripoff Star Fox game.
Oh, okay. There's the... They never made a Zelda game for GameCube, did they?
They actually did. They made two of them.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's where they started the cell shading version of Link, isn't it?
Well, that is on there, but also you have it was actually where they made Twilight Princess originally.
Oh, okay. I keep forgetting about that one. As I said, I never played GameCube, never owned one, never knew anyone that owned one when it was, actually a active system. I remember there being a cool Star Wars game.
Oh yeah, there's actually I was about to say there's a couple of really good Star Wars games, but there's really just two pretty good. There's the two really good Rogue Squadron sequels.
Yeah, and I love the first one. So
the first one's excellent, and I'm one of a handful of people that really, really likes Rogue Squadron 3. And that is largely because it's the only Rogue Squadron game that allowed you to do something that most other games have not done since the 90s, and that's that it lets you play some of the scenes from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And in 3D. How how hard is that to believe that there is only one game after Shadows of the Empire that lets you do things from the movies? Well, actually, one game since the Super Nintendo that recreates scenes from the movie in any way, shape, or form. That's not
very
like
surprising.
Yeah, and it's kind of heartbreaking because there's so many cool, action set pieces that I'm glad that the two Rose Garden games on the GameCube exist, if for no other reason than that alone. And especially since you actually get to do like ground missions in the third one. They're not very good. Do not get me wrong, they're not very good. But when the other option is to not have it at all, I'll take it. So I'll be honest though, I'm kind of with Brandon on this. I'm astonished that people are as excited as they seem to be about this very simple thing. I never thought that people liked the GameCube enough to be as excited as they actually are about a GameCube Virtual Console selection. Taking out... now, actually, Wind Waker has just come out on the Wii U, and so we got a port of that. There's another Wii U update for Twilight Princess, and I would not be shocked at all if Nintendo cashed in and put those on the Switch as well.
I would at least buy the Twilight Princess.
Brandon, say what you want. Wind Waker's really good.
I mean, maybe, but the only one that I actually want to play, for whatever reason, is Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess is my favorite of the two.
It could be the fact that I already had one experience of sailing around on a ship and a game. I don't particularly want to do another one right now. I didn't particularly like the first one.
Which one was the other one?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, okay. It's not as bad as Assassin's Creed. Although the sailing is tedious as fuck.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that entire world surrounded by...
Oh yeah. No, that said, the remake, they apparently made it a lot less boring, which is good. Because the sailing was not fun. And I actually thought that the sailing was done better with Phantom Hourglass. I thought they handled it better in that game. But, so, two Zeldas, Mario Sunshine is not everybody's favorite game. And a handful of other Nintendo titles. It's mostly Nintendo titles. I can point out other great games, but by and large it's all Nintendo titles. I don't know that many people who are that excited about the GameCube library because the GameCube was the weakest selling of all three consoles that generation, despite being a great piece of hardware. I'm surprised by the reaction for this. Am I happy that there seems to be enough people that are excited that Nintendo's actually going to act on it? Certainly. But we still haven't seen anything about the Virtual Console in general to this point.
No,
we don't know what that is yet. And I'm hoping they clear the air about that soon because, well, damn system's been out for 5 months now. We need to know what's coming. We need to know what else they got in planned. Not to say that they don't have a pretty good slate lined up for the rest of the year. And then you've got Nicholas, Nicholas is actually going to have more games on the Switch than Nintendo by the end of the year. And that's physical releases, too. That's pretty shocking. But I want to know about the Virtual Console, and the GameCube's a big part of that, it sounds like. Seeing as that's not a system that has ever been available on Virtual Console before, even though a lot of people thought that the Wii U was going to get that. But if I had to pick out certain GameCube titles that I would double dip on because I have these already, and I would want them for portability's sake, I would love to see Baten Kaitos get a Virtual Console release. It'd be great to see Ikaruga get a portable release, even though that's a snowball's chance in hell on that ever happening. Star Fox Assault was really good, so that would be cool to see get a release. Tales of Symphonia portable would make a lot of people happy, but I don't know if I'd buy a third copy of Tales of Symphonia. Just have it portable. What about you guys? What would be on your Switch GameCube game list if you were to see it happen, other than Twilight Princess, Brandon?
Well, seeing how that was a console that I played like little to nothing on, that's almost an impossible question to answer. Hell, I didn't even play Twilight Princess on the GameCube. I played it on the Wii.
Same here.
Luigi's Mansion? Yes? No? Maybe?
I played that at Brandon's house whenever he had it, or rather when his brother had it. I don't know if I would dive in on that one, but
Pikmin?
Oh hell no!
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Nothing wrong with Pikmin. Not my game.
Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door?
Maybe.
That one's really good, actually. That's a very good title.
This is also contingent on what the pricing would be.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point, because I don't want to spend $20 on any of these games.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they would be. That is actually where I'm leaning the pricing to be.
Although, I don't know. I mean, whenever they did the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii U, $10. So, I hear you. I wouldn't be surprised if it was $20, but I think 15's a fairly conservative guess as well. Because these are games that are supposed to be, I don't want to say disposable, but they're the kind of games you buy on a whim.
Yeah, you're right. That's been most of my virtual console purchases so far. It's just like, this looks like it could be fun.
Yeah, and they have to maintain a fairly low price point to achieve that, So, we'll see.
I would have said Resident Evil 0 if it had not have been, re-released in other ways.
And it's possible that'll get another port, because
I would actually
they're doing the
Resident Evil 0. I like Resident Evil 0.
Oh, your Resident Evil 0 is a blast. I think it's underrated as hell.
It's very short when it comes to, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit.
Well, I mean, Resident Evil's short in general.
Yeah,
at least the classic ones.
Sort of. It depends on how you look at it, because, my first playthroughs of any of these games, they're not short. I mean, they're not, like, extremely long, but they're not short. That one was short. Even as my first playthrough, it was short.
True, but you also were better at Resident Evil games by the time you played 0.
True.
But it is easier. I didn't have as much trouble with 0 as I did, original Resident Evil, or the first time I played 2 and 3. Although 2 is now a game I can kind of blast through whenever I feel like it. 3 I just don't like. But then you have Code Veronica sitting in the corner, and it's long as hell and hard.
There's one I would love to have.
You mean like the GameCube port, or just a portable version, period?
Portable version, period.
I agree. That's a stellar game. And maybe then I could actually finish it, because it's hard.
It is hard.
Very good game, though. One of the best written Resident Evil games. Which, I mean,
that
that's
doesn't
like
take much.
No, that's like saying I don't know, have a nice metaphor for this. I do not have a nice metaphor for that, so we're just gonna roll with that. Oh, but we'll see. That's one we're going to have to keep an eye on in the future because it can really go a lot of different directions at this point. And, Nintendo's not even said anything about the Virtual Console at this stage, although they really need to because there's a lot of people looking forward to it. And it's one of the features that's been most hotly celebrated of their past two consoles, even though after the Wii, they really botched their handling of how it was done. Because they really shouldn't have had to re-release, handfuls of titles here and there after the Wii had such a huge library. There's the Wii U has a fraction of the library of the Wii. And I'm hoping that this long delay before they launch the Virtual Console is so that they don't have to do that again. And also so that they can put something in place where I don't have to re-buy these fucking games.
Good luck on that one.
I know there's a snowball's chance in hell on that, but I want it to happen, and they should placate me because I keep giving them money despite the fact that they don't fucking deserve it. Oh. Well, anyway. Also in Nintendo news, Sony's is he a CEO? I just want to clarify. I don't have my news link up for it. Jim Ryan from Sony has congratulated Nintendo on the success of the Switch, saying that he's glad to see Nintendo's back on their feet, which is something I think we all agree on after the not success at all of the Wii U. That's a nice way of putting it, right? Not success at all. I like seeing positive statements coming out of the industry like that, especially in the age of Microsoft kind of waving their dick around. Oh, speaking of Microsoft waving their dick around, we're going to be seeing pre-order information about the Xbox One X soon.
Joy.
Yes.
Speaking of Microsoft, they also pushed back, what was Crackdown, or that fucking title that's supposed to be popular, but I don't understand why it's popular.
It's popular just because Microsoft says it's popular.
So, with that being pushed, what exactly does Microsoft have releasing with its not new but is actually a new console?
Forza?
Oh, joy. I understand that some people like those type of games, but,
Forza. That's, they've also got Super Lucky's Tale, which I'm going to buy that for my regular Xbox One.
Yeah, because what would be the point?
Exactly.
It would be like buying Minecraft so you get the 4K update.
Oh,
boy.
There we go. Minecraft in 4K is coming to the Xbox One X. That's some legit shit right there.
And them blocks are going to look awfully blocky.
I like the sound of that legit shit.
Now in 4K for extra pixels. No, Brandon, I legit do not know what they've got to sell this console with now that even Crackdown's been delayed. They don't have any damn thing.
No, they don't. That's why this is probably the most bizarre console release I have ever seen. Yeah, I understand that it's just the Xbox One, upgraded, but that's not how it's being treated. It's being treated as a new console, regardless of what they like to tell you. And
that is this system's ultimate downfall. Is that it's new hardware in the eyes of Microsoft and not in the eyes of anybody else.
Well, hell, even Microsoft isn't technically treating it as new hardware because basically their mindset is like, hey, go out and spend $500 on this new console. That's not a new console, by the way. It's not new.
Nope.
And just go
totally
buy these old games that you didn't want before.
Yes, because now they've got 4K.
Which So what you're saying is I have nothing to buy, because if I didn't buy your console before, I'm not sure as hell not going to buy it now. I didn't want your shitty games then. I still don't want them now when they're going to look even shittier.
Shitty games, like shitty records.
They didn't want to make a shitty game either. You know, Iron Maiden's got a video game. Judas Priest has a video game. Where's my Opeth video game?
Heck, Iron Maiden's got a comic book now.
That is not a thing that needs to really
Yeah, I
exist.
agree.
Oh, I can imagine how bad that is.
What
I was like,
exactly
oh
happens in this comic book?
It's about Eddie.
What is
Eddie goes
doing?
to the bar and plays metal.
I don't know. I looked at the headline and I was like, yeah, I don't even want to know. I mean, as if the Kiss comic book wasn't bad enough.
Is this like
Look,
Dark
Kiss needed you to know
Tower,
what
bad?
Kiss needed you to know what happened after they met the Phantom in the park.
See, I've seen that.
And before they went to the Psycho Circus and were in a shitty game.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, and they have Pinball Machine and Coffin and all that sort of thing.
They used to have a coffee house too, but that closed, I think.
I think they had more than one.
I'm pretty sure it's a chain because Gene Simmons needs to, wipe his ass with $100 bills.
Okay, the comic book is based on the video game.
Oh, okay.
Based on another comic book.
Made Inception.
Soon, Maiden versus Priest. The epic comic book showdown.
Oh, I can tell you who wins that already. Maiden.
Yeah, I'll agree. Although I like Judas Priest.
Well, I mean, that may be
Judas
so.
Priest doesn't really have one mascot, so unless you count Rob Halford as a mascot.
That is an odd mascot.
He wants you to ram it down.
Between the hammer and the anvil.
Oh.
Metal bands should not have video games.
No. Actually, you know what? There are some metal bands I would let have a video game.
Dream Theater?
No, because they're video games.
Based on The Astonishing?
I would no. That's not a real video game. Dream Theater's not a band I would play their video game. It is, but it's not a real video game.
It's not?
It's a mobile game, so it's not.
Well,
What
then
metal-
either are the Maiden and Judas Priest ones.
Okay, so here you go. This is the you know what metal band video game I would buy and play? It would be a video game based off of Into the Electric Castle by Arion. That I think would be an excellent video game because it's already an adventure story anyway, and it's already cheesy as fuck all. So you got plenty of set piece moments, and the music would be badass because it's all like progressive metal, melodic noodling. So, yeah, that's a band who I'd play their metal video game. What about you, Brandon?
I don't. There's been some
come on.
that I have played. I don't know. Do any of you remember the basically it was one of those Guncom games, the Aerosmith.
Oh
endorsed.
God, Revolution X.
Yeah. That was weird.
I was talking about a good one. Like, what would make a good one?
An
That's not a
Alice
good-
Cooper video game?
Isn't there an Alice Cooper game?
I don't know of one, but I'll ask a fan when I go see him live on Wednesday.
Well, you know what? There wasn't one, but announced on April. I don't know how we missed this. I do not know how we missed this. He's got a game coming to the 3DS eShop.
Sure.
It's called Scoopin' Birds. It may actually already be out, but it gets better. The guy who designed it was sitting behind Alice Cooper in church when he came up to the idea, and then asked him for permission later.
Uh-huh.
Not even fake. That is legitimately what I am looking at right now, and there is a video game.
I just looked this up.
Yeah, there's video game Alice Cooper on my laptop right now.
I know how to get a bunch of good video metal bands into a video game.
Other than Brutal Legend?
Yes.
Have Lemmy be the main
person? You make a bunch of pinball-themed metal stuff around metal music. You know,
there's already one by Halloween. Gorgar. It's based on a pinball machine, first talking pinball machine.
Huh. There you go.
So, hey, that's one song for the soundtrack right there.
You know, of all the, metal concept albums and, rock opera type things that there are, I'm really disappointed that we haven't, called out another one that would make another good video game.
Iron Savior?
I mean, you could do Keeper of the Seven Keys as a video game because it is, going to fight Satan, and that
just
is
have a friggin' Dio video game where you just play as Dio.
There is a video game called Holy Diver,
and it's not an Olympic swimming game.
If I'm not mistaken, it is an actual Dio video game.
Is it as weird as watching a holographic version of Dio sing and play on stage?
Holy shit, and it's from 1989.
Let's see. Oh, there is no official connection to the Dio album. But there are a lot of references to heavy metal music in this game.
Because you play Randy, whose father's name is Ronnie, and it's tutored by Ozzy.
Oh,
and seeks to rescue his brother Zach. So that's Randy Rhoads, Ronnie James Dio, Ozzy Osbourne, and Zach Wilde.
Yes.
King
and
Crimson
also
and Slayer are also referenced.
and lest we not forget, there is also Rock and Roll Racing for the Super Nintendo and Genesis, which is basically a very good racing game with tons of awesome music attached and video, and all the characters are based on metal music. So.
And then there's Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen.
Which has got fuck all to do with heavy metal other than the title.
Hey, come on now. Ogre Battle is basically a metal song.
I mean, yes, because it's fantasy and metal and fantasy are
the heaviest, one of the
knit.
heaviest songs Queen did.
It's also from one of Queen's coolest fucking albums. Queen 2 is so underrated.
Yes, it is.
And I have all of their first 10 albums now.
Hey.
I need to get the last box set at some point.
Yeah, I still need to do that too.
Oh, man. In Final Fantasy, I'm about to fight a boss, and I forgot to equip a GF to selfie, although all my characters are, level 10, and Squall is doing, 400 damage, so I doubt that this is going to be that much of a challenge.
I picked up Dragon Quest IV again.
Nice.
I wish I had time to play it.
I wish I had time to play anything this week. I've been so behind on everything, and all I've been doing is working.
I've been working and yelling at people on the internet.
Man, me too. That's been the name of this week, though. It's nice to... I'll tell you what. Because I refuse to talk about that particular subject while we're talking about something as wonderful as video games.
Yeah.
It has been so nice to completely disconnect from the fucked up reality that we're currently living in and play something as deliciously nostalgic as Sonic Mania. To just completely delete 20 years from my life and just go back to a game that I feel like I should have played 20 years ago anyway. I'm really loving that game, and it's gonna put me in the mood to probably really engage my my run of Sonic 3 and Sonic 2 to possibly beat that game now. Because, like I said, I've never beaten any of the classic Sonic games, and I have 5 of them that I've never beaten. That's really shitty. Oh, but I mean, I am glad that I'm not alone in having never been able to beat them, so that's good.
No, I always died with the water levels.
God, the water levels are so damn hard. That's, there are literally only 6 worlds to Sonic 3 in the base game of Sonic 3. And I can't get anywhere in them. How sad is that? I've gotten to the second one, and the only reason I've gotten that far is because I finally got through the first one, and the second one, and the game has a save feature that, is of course not in the original Sonic game, in the first 2 Sonic games. And Lord knows I need it. So I'm saying it again. Anybody who's listening to this, go and throw down your $20. That game earned it. It's very good. It's very damn good.
He's nice.
No, it's not so good that it makes me want to make Borat references. I can't think of a game that does that. Oh man, I'm getting my ass kicked in this fight. Looks like I'm going to have to cast magic on my own characters, draw it from the other people, and do it that way. I'll give this game that. The lack of MP and everything that power magic really makes it so that if you're in a pinch, you can kind of, hack your way through the challenge despite any, difficulty. Very cool, balanced design in that way. Or at least it's balanced until you break it by getting the best weapon at the end of disc 1. So we're going to cast that on Selfie. Do we have anything else we wanted to hit for tonight?
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
So.
All right. Well, thank you to anybody who has been listening to the show tonight. We really appreciate you enjoying our podcast with us. If you want to continue checking out the work we do here for Z-Trigger, you can subscribe to us on YouTube or Podbean, or follow us on Twitter or Facebook at Z-Trigger Live. You can also send us messages, tell us things you want to hear us discuss on the show, anything you want to know our particular opinions about, if that is a thing that you enjoy when you are getting your internet-based entertainment. Next week we will be back with the Expanded Universe podcast, which we will have other lovely things to discuss there as well. And until then, again, go check us out on the internet, and we will see you then. Have a good night.
Laters.
Seeing you.